Hi. Today on Soch with Sukhen, we have Sailesh Sampathy and Deepika Sampathy, founder and owners of Siva Sivani groups of institution. Today we uncover the journey of how they build the brand, how they build the school. And in one of the incidents we get to learn, in October 2018, Dr. Sailesh Sampathy was admitted in the hospital and was unconscious for 9 days. During that phase, Deepika ma'am took care of the business, took care of the family, and took care of everything that comes across. People literally prayed for them. Today, in this journey, we'll understand what do they do that makes people pray for them. I ask this because I myself come from a legacy business, founded by my grandfather, built by my father, and now I'm looking forward to expand further. And the question I keep coming back to is how to build something that lasts.
Welcome, uncle. Welcome, auntie. So our families have been knowing each other for a long time. I think, but we've never got. I have never got a chance actually to sit and have a proper conversation with you guys and understand the journey. So the institution was founded by SP Sampathy Garu in 1961, and then you guys have taken the legacy and run forward. And I think I've been knowing auntie for the longest, before I even met uncle for once and twice. So, Andy, let's start with you. I want to understand your journey before joining the Shiv Shivani family, before meeting Sir. How was your life like? How was your childhood? How was your family like?
I grew up in a family of four siblings. We are three sisters and a brother. I'm a daughter of an IAS officer.
Wow.
My father was well disciplined and yet extremely grounded person. He was strict when it came to the values. At the same time, he pampered us a lot. From him, we learned the humility, integrity, and the importance of doing the right things. My mother is also a central government employee. She was the pillar of the house. She very well managed both her personal and professional life. She was also active in philanthropic activities where every Sunday she used to go to satsang to feed the poor. That action of her has influenced me a lot while I was growing up. So the balance of our upbringing was a mix of humility, compassion, and strong values.
That's really good to know. I mean, like, comes from a family of, well disciplined people, working hours are very, sorted. Also, there's a lot of spirituality. But what is the transformation, the transformation of you coming from a family where there are people working for the government to a family who runs a very large business? You know, how was that journey? How did you see yourself? Okay, I'm getting married to Sailesh, sir. How is that transformation going to be? What was your age when you guys got married?
90,
Wow. And may I know which year, sir?
92.
92. Very long journey. So how was that journey, Andy?
When I entered into the family, I was surprised to see the humility. The family was very simple, yet, though they were, despite having the success, fame, they were very grounded person.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw him, he he was also very young. So he made me complete my PG because I was just a graduate
Hmm.
when I got married. He was helping me to complete my post graduation in commerce, and they were all God fearing. And one thing what I liked most about my father-in-law was he was God fearing, and he would always tell that we must focus on giving back something to the society.
Of course. I think that's a very, very strong value. That's when you spoke about meeting sir and all, there's a smile I could see on your face. How was it meeting him for the first time? How was that phase of meeting him at the age of 20 back then, and he's encouraging you to complete your PG? Very supportive of him. So how was the journey like? The stage is yours, Yuki. Anybody is more. So the ball is in your court. What would you like to say?
We got married at a very young age,
Okay.
an age where probably we're not much matured.
Huh.
But then, having spent so many years together, now probably spent more time together than when we were single. So this compatibility that we have with each other, the understanding that is up over a period of time, not something that came probably at the click of a button or overnight. There were times probably like every couple has
Yeah.
certain times where we were not able to understand each other. Certain times there was a misunderstanding. But as time passed, we were able to at least make out mostly what one did not like in the other. And we tried as much as possible to probably remold those facets in us. But then, let's say God's grace, there's never it's a serious difference between us. We attribute it to my parents and her parents.
Lovely, lovely.
The way that we were brought up, actually ensured that we gelled together probably more strongly than I would say what others would have without the kind of upbringing that we've had.
Seems like a really solid friendship between you guys, really solid understanding. I think that's a beautiful way the relationship evolves.
And prior to marriage, both of us were strangers. We never even met at a
Any place.
common function or never met each other.
Yeah. I think arranged marriages are a big part of our Indian culture. And I think getting to know as strangers and coming off to a very solid marriage and a friendship is one of the core values. I think lots of core values around it. So, Andy, when you joined, when you got married to him, when you were introduced to this Shiv Shivani school, how did you find this business? I remember in one of our conversations, you said, it was completely new, and then you linked it up everything together. What was your one thing that you feel that you have added to the Shiv Shivani school's legacy or in its business that is of your own?
What is my role, you need to say?
Addition ఈ business కి మీరు యాడ్ చేశారు లైక్
We basically have a school, degree college, and PG. In the year 2015, when I observed my 10th class students and parents, then the idea of starting a junior college came to me. Then I discussed with Dr. Siva Sampathy, saying, why shouldn't we not start a junior college so that the concept of KG to PG will be fulfilled? Then in the year 2015, towards the end of 2015, then we started the groundwork of applying to Board of Intermediate and getting the college. It was not easy. It was the groundwork. What we had to do was quite hectic.
of course
Like identifying a place in the campus, then identifying the faculty. That was hit up. But now I must say I'm very proud for taking the decision of starting an intermediate college. Now my intermediate college is one of the biggest feather in the group.
Wow. So when you had that vision and when you took that vision to Sailesh sir, what was the conversations like? What was as two business people together sitting and saying, hey, I have this plan of action, I want to execute this part of the business. So what are the pros and cons you guys decided together at this team, or what were the differences you guys felt? What was it, Andy? How even
When I asked him that we'll start, and he paused and he told, will it be right? Because there are already a number of intermediate colleges on our roads.
Of course.
Then I said, let's give a try. Because we are not going to take any building on rent or anything. We had our own space. So the overheads were minimal. My high school teachers were also there to help me out.
Beautiful.
We had to only appoint a principal from outside. And all the faculty I outsourced from my own.
That's a lot of help, actually. That's actually a very wise move.
And we have done very little as far as advertisement is concerned.
Okay.
But because of the name goodwill, on the first year itself, we had good number of admissions. In fact, we had an intake of 360 Now we are at 704.
In terms of employees?
Intake. Every year we have the
Okay, the admissions.
permission to take 704 students.
Okay. So coming to you, I mean, like a school that has been running over decades. Uh, what are those things you see that you have seen Mr. Sampathy has done to the school, where you felt like you have taken the school to a, added a few other feathers to the school's business and taken it to a next level, sir?
All my life, I've grown up in the environment of an education institute. My father made it very sure wherever we stayed, it was within the premises of an institution. I would have hardly stayed, I think, for 6 or 8 months all through my life away from an educational institution. And yes, people do keep asking me after taking it over, so what is it that you have done for the institute? My honest feeling is the founder has not left anything much to. He was a person with a lot of foresight. And amongst his children, I am the fortunate one to have had spent most time with him, especially during his last years.
Mm-hmm.
And my relationship with my father was I couldn't be away from him for more than a couple of hours. So even when I was at school, every break I used to run to him. And then when I started my undergraduation, I had to actually stay along with two of my brothers at again school premises at road number 4, Bandava. That was a time when probably we wouldn't be able to see each other for 2 or 3 days at a stretch. So once it was 2 or 3 days, either he would come there or I would come home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how closely our bonding was. And his last years have been the most important learning years, since I was almost constantly with him.
Mm-hmm.
He shared his views, what he wanted the institute. In fact, when he started the school in 61,
Mm-hmm.
and then he had a society registered to run the school in 1966, he had foresight then to put it down on paper that he wanted his institution to be a gift to peons. It's probably something very style of in 1966. And what I learned from him, I say one of the most important learnings is
Mm-hmm.
never be hasty while growing. And if you take a step forward, ensure that you stabilize, and then instead of taking baby steps, you'd say take a stride, balance, and then go in for the next leap.
That's a lot of courage plus stability together. That's like very solid thought.
Having heard from him what his vision was and how he had moved through from 61 to 2005, I feel that there isn't a lot of contribution from my side. Only been trying to take it forward based on his vision and what he had told me.
So the way you describe about SP Sympathy, sir, is like with a lot of love and respect. And I could see a lot, very, very healthy father-son bonding over there. What do you think, sir, if SP sir would be here, what would be that one conversation, or what would you speak to him? What would you have a conversation with him? Or what would you expect him to tell to you when if he was here right now?
100% sure that if he was here now, he would say that I've been able to, make a major part of this vision come. I know I still have a long way to go, but I'm also absolutely sure that I'm not veered away from the path even a little bit of what he aspired his institutions.
As a daughter-in-law, I would like to say
Please, ma'am.
he will feel really happy seeing us continue his legacy in the way he left. Amongst all the daughter-in-law, I was his pet. So
I'm sure
I
you were a
always
favorite.
feel that he's always showering his blessings from above
Of course.
for continuing his legacy,
100%.
what is left.
I think that's the beautiful part of, when you have such, even I feel like, when I look up to my grandfather, my father, and my elders, what they have done to us in terms of the hard work, the effort in those days when there was, now we have a lot of technology. Now the struggles are different. Back then the struggles are different. But it has been a blessing in disguise. Yeah. Auntie, I see you and uncle have such a great bond and relationship. But I very well remember in one of the phases, there was a phase in 2018 or 19, if I remember. And uncle was admitted due to his ill health. I think he was unconscious for 9 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to understand that journey, Auntie. The reason I want to understand is like, I very well remember 9 days when your partner is seriously ill and you are running this institution with a lot of responsibility on you. At the same time, you have family responsibilities to take care of. How did you manage? If I want to understand the journey, ఎలా చేశారు?
That was the hardest phase of my life. Actually, there was a delegation from US which had come and spent nearly 3 hours with Sampathy. I don't know what happened. Immediately from the next day, he fell sick.
Mhm.
Then he was hospitalized.
Mhm.
The doctors were giving something negative, but because of his good deeds and the way he treats his employees, that is what, if we do good to people, God will really bless us abundantly. During those 9 days, I think so, if given a chance, I want that to be erased from my life, because I had just a 13-year-old daughter with me, and we both had to struggle because of our pillars being there in the hospital. People went to Tirupati, they went to Sri Sailam, they went to Dargah, and one of our faculty, she went to Belanking. She said, all people from all walks of life have prayed for his comeback. And the way he went royally in the car to the hospital, and same in a royal way, he entered in
Beautiful.
his own Benz car.
Lovely. What was emotionally going on with you, Auntie? Like, they definitely, you've handled that very strongly. What was going inside your heart? What was the fears you were facing back then? ఎలా ట్యాకిల్ చేశారు ఆ భయంని ఎలా ఫేస్ చేశారు బికాజ్ ఐఎమ్ షూర్ త్రూ అవుట్ ద డే యూఆర్ కాట్ అప్ బట్ ఇన్ ద నైట్ వెన్ యూర్ సిట్టింగ్ బై యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ ఎలా హ్యాండిల్ చేశారండి బికాస్ దట్ సీమ్స్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ స్ట్రెంగ్త్ ఎలా చేశారు
See, I had my siblings supporting me and the daughter. We were there throughout the day in the hospital. When I would come back in the night to be with the daughter.
ఎస్
So whenever I used to break down, my daughter was strength. She would say, nothing will happen to Daddy. I'm very confident that he'll come back safe. That really miracles do happen, and it has literally happened in our lives.
100%. I think Pratna was 13 back then. Such a strong thing for her to say. At that age, to understand nothing is going to happen, he's going to come back strong.
He was very confident.
Pure love.
This is very confident. And first, when he came back from the coma, first wish he had was to see the daughter, not the mother, not the wife.
Of course. Daughters are do special. And it's very good to know.
So for me, my daughter is my father come back. My father passed away in February 2005.
Mhm.
My daughter was gone in November 2005.
It's just a gap of 9 months, 16 days.
Beautiful. Definitely a comeback.
And that is what my father had promised. Certain years of marriage and people talking about not having children.
Mm-hmm.
My father told me that don't worry, I'm going to come back. And that's what has happened. And I believe it to be absolutely true.
It's supposed to be true, uncle. I think karma, rebirth is something 100% true. There are things where you can pray, you can ask for, but there's things you can't even expect that happens. I think it's very beautiful. How's your bond with your daughter, sir? When you say that my father has come back again, it's it's one of the most beautiful things to ever say. And how do you look at Pratna now, and how do you see Pratna if in future, if she has to take over this legacy business, how would you, what would you say to her? What would you talk to her?
Like me, she has also grown up right from the day she was born in an atmosphere of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I said I truly believe that it is my father come back. So when she takes over, my honest innermost feeling is that it will be my father taking back the reins of the institution.
Yes, sir.
And I do not have even an iota of doubt that she would find it difficult or she would fail to take this path.
As parents, we are always there to support her to discover her own interest.
Mm-hmm.
But one day when she takes over this, as parents will be very happy. But apart from the organization, if she wants to start anything of her own also, we'll be there to help her morally and financially.
Of course, of course. I think that's the biggest support any child can get. Uncle, you said you were completely raised in an educational environment, same school, studying in the same college. Everything was made and built by your father. How was that, uncle? Studying in the same school, how was it with dealing with the teachers and then again coming back and handling this business? Or were you ever thought ki in life, maybe I want to try some other businesses?
As far as being in the school run by my father, in fact, here I was slightly more lucky than Pratna because my father was also my teacher. He taught us, me and my brother, mathematics when we were at school, the 8th, 9th, and 10th classes. So, not just us, he used to handle those higher class mathematics regularly. Even after you know the growth of the school, more than 2,000 plus students, he would still be a regular teacher and a teacher who would never miss a class. A teacher who would, do his own corrections. As principal, he could probably have, asked some other teacher to take care of the corrections, some other teacher take care of the notes, but he never did that. When he was a teacher, he was a complete teacher.
Of course, that balance has to be. Tell me something about when you saw Auntie for the first time and when she was introduced to the family. What was the kind of conversations you had? Because she was not only integrating into just the business part, she was integrating into a family. Both the families have had huge reputations, but also integrating is one integral part of while getting married. So how was that journey like? How was that conversations like? I'm sure she said you supported her through her PG and everything, sir. But what was your mindset like?
So the beginning, in fact, it is definitely, a relationship that has probably been made even before we were born. She was the first girl that I saw, and I was the first boy that we were got together for the first time. My parents were there, couple of my brothers were there. And father was at Karnal, he was the collector there. So the first time I saw her, father wasn't there. Her mother of siblings were there. And about 2 to 3 minutes after we walked and started from their house, when my father asked me, "Did you like the girl?" I said yes. And then we actually had the car and turn back, then stopped the other car where in which my brothers and my brother-in-law were traveling. Told them, go inform them that we like the girl and find out if they like the boy also.
Beautiful, beautiful.
That's and then there's absolutely no hesitation as far as communication between us was concerned. Even we speaking for the first time, because like was speaking to somebody whom we known for quite some time. I think that's what actually taken care of our gelling in a very short.
What was the just if it's okay, but what was the early days of marriage for you guys like? So I'm sure the communication was a big part of you guys. You guys clicked off very well. If there is something, you're running an educational institution, and if there is something that a lot of parents walk in, a lot of children study, people are of different ages aware. As a couple, if you'd like to give them an advice of how to look life as a couple, if what are those things you feel you could communicate?
First thing that I would advise a would-be couple is neither of them should have a thought that he or she is the more important partner. That thought sets in quite strongly into the mind, everything else will be at peace.
Of course.
So do not you get a thought that probably I am more important, or I am probably the person who is working more than the other partner in my life. I am providing more than what the other partner is getting. Then it starts trouble.
In my opinion, the word ego should not be between a husband and wife.
Biggest.
If there's any difference, you should be the first one to approach the other.
Of course.
Then, in that case, the differences will curve very fast. You should not expect the other person to apology. We should be the first one to.
Any situation you guys have faced together where you thought, okay, we have together sorted it out, or either one of you has taken an initiative to communicate and resolve? Could be a business, could be a personal, could be anything.
This is concerning what a land we purchased.
Oh, sure.
Time. So when we went to the landlord to take up the land,
Okay.
they were quoted quite high.
Mm-hmm.
Then I told him that, see, this is the fag end of the year where we have to spend crores of rupees. Then I gave him idea saying that let's put our personal papers. And there was a little dispute regarding that.
Of course.
So whether to put or not support. Even my mother-in-law was quite apprehensive, saying, how can you put all your personals for the sake of? And I said, the organization is always doing good. But getting the land close by, we might not get given another chance. So I encouraged him, let's put our personal papers and take the land.
I think it's done wonders.
But the cost, what we bought, and the cost now is, I won't say.
What do you feel about that, uncle?
If it was not for her so readily agreed to put in personal property as guarantee, I don't think we would have been able to get that land, because about 2 weeks after we actually gave out the advance, somebody else would come to us saying that they're prepared to give us something more to go out so that they could purchase it, and they were interested in developing that land into probably a residential structure.
Mm-hmm.
That's how close it came to.
One beauty of the land is it's just attached to our land.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it would have been somewhere far, I would not be so particular.
As far as I remember, like we had a discussion and you said about like 732 plus employees,
432.
432 employees. May I remember you saying 375, you know them by name. That shows quite a leadership and knowing your people very closely. I want to understand firstly from you, Deepika Aunty, running of institute of such a huge faculty, how do you manage all the people working in this institution, the teachers, the staff, everyone? How is the conversation? How is the messaging? How is the leadership given to them?
For me, organization is not just buildings, infrastructure, or systems. For me, anything is manpower is very important. Knowing people by their names is a small gesture that shows the respect and acknowledgement for what they are doing for us.
Exactly. Knowing 375 names is not a small thing.
They feel a sense of happiness
Of course.
when we call them back by their name.
Of course.
That they feel that this is a place of their own. They've come here to work as their own business. We treat the people like it's a family. He's very particular in saying it's Siva Sivani family.
Fun.
So it's always good to treat people in a nice, conducive environment. We must get there so that we all should work like a family for the benefit of the organization. Today we might be 432, but when the father-in-law started, it might be minimum below 10.
Okay. So I think, do you have a daily, weekly meeting or a fortnight meeting with the faculty, giving the leadership, giving them the direction for the coming week?
We have weekends with you.
We do have meetings. In fact, there's no fixed schedule.
Mm-hmm.
We have a meeting only on a particular day. So whenever we feel we need to meet and discuss something, we definitely go ahead and I have a open door policy.
Hmm.
Any colleague of mine can walk in at any point in time whenever I may know. There's no question of somebody seeking an appointment. People eternally, they can and they do walk in whenever they feel there's something that they need from me.
Now, uncle, I want to understand a couple of things. I remember you telling me, I think you, Shiv Shivani group, and especially you, started off the B school that was completely authorized and certified by your own. If you could just tell us about that, sir, because I think back in the day, it was one of the business schools back in the day in the city. At that time, Andhra Pradesh, I guess, I remember.
So this is a standalone school taught by the All India Council of Education on the lines of the IIMs. As IIMs prior to the passing of the act by the parliament converting them into institutions that they give out PDs. Even the IIMs were giving out postgraduate diplomas. On similar lines, we were also a standalone, in fact, we still are a standalone preschool where there's no interference from the state government. There's no interference in the working of the institution, either from the central government or the All India Council for Technical Education. So here, the advantage that we have is our syllabi undergoes change if necessary, even in the middle of a trimester. We feel that there's something that has to be added or something that has to be deleted. we are able to do it literally on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives us, apart from this, a lot of other independent arenas which are not available to a normally affiliated college. And then that has also made us going for very knowledgeable, highly qualified faculty. And then we've been able to set up some very robust system thanks to the geniuses that we have had as directors right from the inception of the institution. We have been able to make a name for ourselves, and more importantly, we have been able to also tell people that a PGDL is much more valuable than a master's degree in business administration.
Of course. How did this thought of Sampathy sir's vision of starting the school, how did that whole journey start, sir?
Paternal and maternal grandfathers were A-class civil contractors.
Uh-huh.
They were part of the team that built the Tungabhadra Dam, and part of the team that built the Atilpet Air Force Base, and they were also part of the team that built the Hyderabad Public School Beringpet. And initially, my father was also a civil contractor. But there he found there's a lot of interference both from his father and father-in-law. And without informing his father, he underwent the process of selection in the police force. And right from around 1949-50, he was in the police force about 10-12 years. He had taken his brother-in-law, my father's brother-in-law, my uncle, for an admission into the St. Anne's Secondary, which at that time was a co-educational institution.
Mm-hmm.
When he went there, he found out that the principal then of the St. Anne's School was somebody who had taught my father in his second or third years, his teacher. And he also found there were quite a lot of people waiting there to meet the principal. They were made to wait for almost a couple of hours, and then somebody came out and said, the principal is busy, she will not meet anybody today. And my father said that I am her former student, I will need to see her. Just beat her and go. She went in, probably spoke to the principal. She came out and said, she's very busy, she cannot meet anybody today. And coming out of that school, the thought that my father had was, I will start a school, run it better than what these government schools do, and yet give respect to the parents and the visitors who come. And he had only about 50 paise in his pocket then, where he called up a friend of his, Mr. Budhraj, took a loan from him, and then started a school at Sarat Nagar. In fact, the building was number 9 Zek Colony, Sarat Nagar, which at that point of time was a tobacco godown.
Okay.
And the owner, when my father met him, the owner said, the persons who have tracked the tobacco there are neither paying me rent nor moving out from there. If you are able to throw them out from that place, I'll give it to you on rent. So my father used to tell us that he went in and thrashed those people in, and then literally burnt the entire stock of tobacco, cleaned it himself, and then took it over on rent. And that's how school started at 9 Zek Colony, Sarat Nagar in 1961. And the day when it was started is the 3rd of August. 3rd of August 1960.
3rd of August. That takes a lot of courage, having 50 paisa in the pocket, going and thrashing those tobacco workers and then cleaning up and starting shows a very, very determined person, a very determined person. I think
That point of time, Sanatnagar was a place which was connected by only one RTC bus. One bus in the morning from the city was at that point of it was on the outskirts of the city. So one bus in the morning, one bus in the evening, and the locality was filled with slums. These are people who are working in the Alvin factory, certain other factories, daily wage earners. So this was a place with that kind of people, and he started a school there. And in the initial days, he would go and plead with these people to send their children to school, saying that that have a better life than what the parents now have if they study. And he was a man who literally did all the jobs in a school, right from that of a peon to the principal. So initially, he was the sole teacher, he was the peon, he was the principal. He used to sweep the place early in the morning and go market the school to these daily wage earners before they left for work early in the morning. I came back. He was a teacher. He was principal. And then evenings he used to again go out to these people to ensure that they send their children to school. And after coming back, almost from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the night, he would take out tuitions. First few years, the boards that were built in the classrooms were done by my father.
I could.
The classrooms themselves were built by him, where he go to these daily wage masons in the evenings, borrow their tools, work in the night, return it back to them in the morning so that they can go for.
I mean, like every brick in this institution belongs to him, sir. All his blood, sweat, everything is given, sir. I think my father, he used to tell when he used to go in the office in the early days, he used to make sure he used to wipe the floors by himself. Then he used to tell that Sukhen, do that. When I used to tell that, do that. I was like, why, dad? Why? You're of an age. Why do you have to? It's not about we are the bosses. We shouldn't do it. It's about it's your office. It's your baby. It's your home. Clean it so that you're more connected to it. Take everything very personally. Till date, I see dad, making sure everything is at a perfect place. So I clearly understand when you're saying all these things. I literally, it feels like every inch, every brick in this institute belongs to him. Dad. So from 1961 up till 2026, Sir started then. You have taken over. How was the education system back then, in mid 90s, into early 2000s, and now? What are the changes you are seeing? At the same time, sir, when you joined this company, did you get that thought? Like, sometimes joining an institution of so big, how will you handle this as a responsibility? Or was this given to you, or you had no other option? Did it choose you, or did you chose it? How was it, sir? Like, what are those things? Firstly, I want to understand the whole education system from 1961 till 226. What is the changes that has happened in the style of teaching, in the style of connecting with the people? Now the parents are also so much involved. There's so many changes now. The technology is coming in. Please, would like to know about that.
Basic education, I think, has not changed much. It is still a teacher in a class, students in a class. But what has changed is the methodology of teaching. And then the advancement of technology. What probably was something unthinkable even in the 90s and the early 2000s is what is happening now. Now, classrooms right from nursery. The gadgets have made learning easy, but at the same time, I would say that they have made both the students and the teachers lazy, more dependent on gadgets than on knowledge, and a lot of things which were termed as unfair practices when we were students is now something very, very common. When we were students, even thinking of using or getting into malpractice was something so very, I would say, so very bad that, as students, we would never ever talk about probably carrying chits into the examination hall or looking at somebody else's work and, copying it. These were things that were literally unheard of. But then now, if it is carrying chits into an examination hall, which is something that's very, very common, which we find children talking about quite openly. And then we also find that certain invigilators in the examinations, more so in the public examinations, are people who encourage students to use malpractice. The reason is again allow a student to use or get into cheating and then expect something back. So I feel the moral values, the ethics have gone for a toss.
Please.
Change that has happened, I think, is majorly this, where we have now started looking at things that give us a lot more comfort, things which don't allow us to expend energy, things which allow us to be as immobile as possible, is what we are looking at as not luxury, but as something that is a need of the hour. For instance, we used to see a lot of people walking to school. We used to see a lot of people walking out in the markets. But now we find hardly a handful of people, students, walking to a school. In fact, even if they are staying about 25, 30 meters away from the school, they are expecting their parent to drop them or a bus to pick them. Students are, kids at the age when we were mostly out of home on the grounds playing. We find the kids now sitting inside the rooms. And there have been instances that I was witness to where two children sitting on two chairs side by side are chatting on the covers.
Oh my goodness. That's a bit shocking. So, you've made a few points which is like very vital. I, being a sports person before, I can relate. And a lot of the kids have more turned into the, gaming and all these things. What are the activities that Shiv Shivani organizes or conducts for children or for people of any age to get more into some physical activities or routine? Do we actively take part, and what are those?
At the school level, as we used to have this regular games hour when we were students, we still continue it at school. And In fact, as an institution, we are fortunate to have enough open space for the children to play.
Hmm.
Then there are these weekly mass PT classes
Hmm.
where the entire school is on the ground at a particular point in time. Plus, we have space and we have people playing games like cricket, volleyball, and in fact, very recently come up with two practice pitches, that is nets for cricket, where
Morning, I hope you. The badges stack.
Lovely, lovely.
school students play, the junior college students play, the undergraduate students play, the postgraduate students also play. Then we have facilities like tennis, which we are able to have a covered area so that it becomes an all-weather court now. And then we have a facility for pickleball. And I find my hostel students playing even at 10 o'clock in the night.
Amazing, amazing. Sir, education has been such a vital part of this country, and over the period of years, how people have emphasized, especially the parents, the way they have, you can't even say encouraged right now. It's more like, if they push them to study, like, there is school, then after school, they have some tuitions, then some other classes, then some of the other things. At the same time, now in the current phase, we also see children are more encouraged towards sport. There was a phase where they were only like engineer, doctor, IITs, and all. Now it's more of a dynamic balance. People are going to different creative areas, sports, other things are encouraged. But sir, as you guys running such an institution and so experienced, what do you guys think? How should be an ideal balance day? You guys are yourself parents and there's so many children studying. How do you find, or how do you advise, or how do you think it should be an ideally balanced day, so that there's not much of stress on the kids as well?
The biggest stress buster I feel is playing games, not online but physically. That not only expends the energy, it also builds up a very close camaraderie between students. With team spirit, sportsmanship spirit, and what it would do is it would discourage people from getting into unethical practices or malpractices. Because once you have that bonding with other people, then your mind is occupied or preoccupied with positive things most of the time. You don't tend to think negative.
Yep.
And I feel, if not more, at least an hour a day, child spends on the ground playing any game that he or she likes. I think that would take away a lot of stress. Not the entire stress, a lot of stress will.
So also, sir, now AI has a lot of impact on everything from technology and everything. How is it helpful for students, and how is it not helpful for students? And from a teaching point of view, how is it helping the teachers teach, and is there a benefit? Or if you could just speak about AI, what do you think, sir? How is it impacting the education system?
For us to understand how AI is affecting education, I think we should first understand what AI is. Because, especially amongst the youngsters, there is a misconception that AI is going to do things that people normally do, thereby taking away their jobs or probably reducing the number of jobs. But the truth is, AI cannot do anything on its own. It depends on the data that is fed into a system or the data that is accessible, from which it picks out things probably much faster than it will. Otherwise, AI is not something which is going to take over human jobs. The only thing AI would do is probably reduce the number of people per task. And that has been the case with technology developing day in and day out. And the only reason people have been successful is because they have been amenable to change. So as long as human remains amenable to change, I think no technology is ever going to hit it. But the moment you say that I'm not prepared to change, and I'm still going to, I've on the old line, then there's definitely trouble.
So, what do you think? How is the role of parents with the children over the period of years? You see a lot of parents coming in, having conversations with you guys, having a discussion with you guys. From a teacher's point of view, what do you think? What parents can do better with their children, and what teachers can do to help the communication bridge even better?
The kind of environment that we've had here compared to the environment now, as far as the relationship between a parent and a child. Earlier, we used to have joint families, and and at least the elderly people in the family would look after the kids. And when I say look after, it's not just looking at their physical needs, but then there are a lot of lessons learned as children from the wiser people in the family, grandparents, and that would inculcate a lot of ethics into a child. And a child would be told what is right, what is wrong, what can be done, what cannot be done. The concept of joint families is almost gone now. It's come to very small families, nucleus families, that only have the husband and wife and children. And then last couple of years, we're looking at families with a single parent. What this has done is it has taken away those valuable lessons that human being as a child has to learn. And since the cost of living has grown up leaps and bounds, it is not possible now for a single member to earn for the entire. So it's become compulsory that both the spouses work. And when both the spouses work, they probably have a little more money than what they actually need. But then there is also a guilt factor there, that they've not been able to spend time with their child. And to overcome this guilt factor, parents now are prepared to give anything to a child that money can pay, with no proper supervision. Majority of these things that children get, be it their mobiles, be it their tablets, or their systems, have both positives and negatives. And with no supervision, we have children doing things which are not desirable, which are not ethical. And that is how I think when you open newspaper today, or you switch on news channel today, you will find cases of child abuse. You find cases of robberies by children hardly in their fields. You find reports of children killing parents for want of money at property, and you find parents killing children because the child has find out about an affair parent has had with somebody else, or child has seen parent do something which is not right. I'm not saying that these things were not happening in the society earlier. I think all that we hear of now has also been happening in the society earlier, but it was like I think compared to today, it was at a minuscule scale.
Mm-hmm.
Because a person who's unethical, not probably about 15, 20 years ago, would be looked down upon by the society. The person would be very conscious about oh, what other members in the family think of him or her, what neighbors think of people as a family, what the society thinks. But these days, since there's no, I would say, people connection,
Hmm.
we may be talking to people, probably more number of people, but it's on phone. We may be interacting with a larger number of people, going into larger gatherings, like for instance, watching a game of cricket, where India, if it's the IPL or if it's any other tournament or any game played, you'll have crores of people watching. But then there's no physical connect at all. There's no emotional connect. And that is what, in fact, just yesterday I was telling my passing out undergraduate group
Hmm.
the way that Anil Ambani had looked at life and business, and the way that Mukesh Ambani had looked at life. Two siblings, same set of parents, same environment that they grew up in, probably the same resources that they've had. We call one person successful and the other person a failure. And in one of his interviews, you remember Anil Ambani saying that probably I was too proud to accept change and go with it. Because that's what probably brought me to this stage. So with no connect with the people, we are also just not able to, a majority of us are not able to draw a line on what is acceptable and what is.
True.
We feel, since our entire world is an individual, we feel that what I think is right, what I do is right, and the extent that I can go is the extent that is. In fact, that has to be accepted. So with this mindset, we find so many undesirable things happening in the society. And this is probably, I would say, the main cause for it is no elderly supervision. And so we were taught that the impressions on the mind of a child will stay lifelong. It will decide on whether a child will grow up into a good person or a bad person.
True. I think it's such an important part of life of nurturing the children in the right way. So, majority of the young age of children is spent. The majority of the hours has been spent in the school. So, what do you think as teachers, other than just teaching them, what are the values that they can give, or a student can pick up, especially from a school like Shiv Shivani?
Values that can be picked up at school. I'm talking of a general school.
Yeah.
Is something which has come down drastically because one is the advancement of technology, where information is available at the tip of the fingers.
Yeah.
And what it has done is it has curtailed the attention span of a child to not more than 2 or 3 minutes at stretch. That comes out of the feeling that when I have information, whatever is required at the tip of my fingers, why do I need a teacher to teach? But what at that age children don't realize is whatever knowledge can be accessed by you is not going to be useful unless you know where and how to use it. And using something for the good of an individual or a group or a society or negatively comes only from experience.
Yep.
The person probably can become a scholar, I would say, if he learns to read and write, and to become a wise person, there is no other option than having a teacher here. But then things have come to a stage now where the students are not prepared to listen to a teacher or take a teacher as seriously as a teacher has to be taken, because there's so many things that have come up. There are laws which say that teacher physically cannot touch student. A teacher cannot use an angry tone when speaking to a student. A teacher must not force a student to do something which he or she is not prepared to do. A teacher is not supposed to, take any action, even if a student does not do work given at home and comes to school, or does not do work at school. Because if you find a teacher, telling a student to do something, probably in a slightly harsher tone because this child is not listening, within the next hour or probably within a day, you will have the parent coming to the school with a complaint against the teacher, saying that the teacher is used abusive language, the teacher is being partial. And the parents feel that, again, I would say that this is a part of the guilt factor that the parents have. That the school child goes home and says something about the teacher or something about the school, the parent feels it is his or her duty to immediately rush back to the school and then ensure that some action is taken against the teacher or some action is taken against the institution. So in this environment, it is difficult. I'm not saying impossible, but it's difficult for a majority of the teachers, to start their role in their entirety.
I think most of the times when so many, laws are there where a teacher or a guru can't do. Before, I think in the early days, where we used to see like a lot of students used to get influenced by teachers in a good way, picking up those values and learning from them, and it was more like a guru shishya relationship. Now it has become a very professional. Like, times have changed, things have changed. People have become more protective about their children in a good way, in their own way. So I want to understand now, like, COVID was a very serious phase for the whole world, and educational systems were still up and running, taking care of education. At the same time, it was so chaotic. From a teaching point of view, from a business point of view, from a leadership point of view, how did you guys step up to that, sir?
During COVID, uh, those lockdowns that we have had, the admissions of especially my school have gone up rather than come. And that is because we have ensured that every teacher, whether it is the school, it's the junior college, the degree college, or the PG college, every teacher has a system at home. Taken systems out from our labs and put it in at the residences of so that they can conduct classes online. But most of the other schools ask the teachers to manage it by themselves using their mobile phones or tablets. And the kind of heads that we have running these units, they have ensured that a student is involved in every activity that he would or would have been involved in if he or she was physically present at the institution. For instance, schoolmen, especially the lower classes. So there were debates that were conducted online, elocutions conducted online, quizzes conducted online. There were drawing classes and competitions conducted. There were rangoli competitions that were conducted with students sitting at their home, would come on live and then participating. There were singing competitions, and in fact, 2021, the 3rd of August was the Diamond Jubilee of the institutions, and we had a cultural program online where we had a select group of students coming in here to the institution and performing, which was aired live. And then there were some students who performed from their homes, that was aired live.
Amazing.
I attribute this to, one is the availability of technology and the required gadgets, and more importantly, the ability of my teachers, my faculty, to quickly adapt to these factors. In fact, I would say at the school level, especially the language teachers, teachers teaching Hindi, Telugu, who probably till that point in time were not exposed much to computers, were able to take classes, handle classes from the systems that we have put there. And from the institution, we also made sure that they had enough of a data pack with each of them.
That is a very vital requirement to them. Data packs, internet, Wi-Fi. If there's no smooth usage of that, there's no point of technology. Sir, I see a lot of delegation happening, and I think I want to understand. So how is the daily work delegated to the people? Because when you're running an institution of this big, the leadership is given to sub leaders or the second in lines, and also how are the roles and responsibilities firstly between you, what are the roles and responsibilities you guys have discussed? Like, this is the role I'll take in the company, this is the role you will be doing in the company, and how is that roles given to the second in line leaders to run an institution like this, sir? Because when you run, I feel there's a lot of delegation of work that has to be happening. And I think if you can just let me know, so how is this institution running?
Before talk about the style of functioning, say that we probably have that very great advantage of living in the institution. What that does is, other than cutting traveling time, it keeps us in the same environment, whether at home or at the office. We don't find any change. That has been a great advantage for us. And I also now realize why my father was so insistent that he had to stay where there was an institution. In fact, the days when my father used to stay in the anteroom of his office. The anteroom of his office became his bedroom.
Okay.
And as I said, it gives us a great advantage. And then as far as our style of functioning is concerned, this again comes from my father, where he was very clearly explaining to me that no single person is an expert in every area that is required to manage an institution. So we no other choice but to delegate, the jobs to different people. This is done everywhere, but in addition to that, what I learned from my father is not to interfere in the work of somebody. Once it is delegated, unless it's going wrong, we do not interfere. So that way, the heads of the institutions that we run have absolutely no interference from either of us, unless it is necessary or unless they come to us to seek advice or discuss with us on how to do things.
What's your daily routine, sir? What is your daily routine, auntie? పొద్దుట లేవగానే ఏం చేస్తారు? How is your daily, like, day to day?
We get up, we sit for meditation for 21 minutes. Then we both of us go for a walk. I go for a walk for half an hour. He goes for a walk for an hour.
Okay.
And once we come back home, we freshen up. We do puja. We complete our breakfast and we come back to office. My routine will be, first when I come to the office, I check with all my heads whether there's any problem or is there any issue to be solved. Now this is the fag end of the year where we need to appoint new faculty, or if some faculty, if they want to leave, what is the reason for them to leave. We'll be discussing now. This is the time.
Okay, okay.
And the admission session also starts now.
What is the, I mean, like, in an institution running so long, is there a very, like, oldest employee in this faculty who's, like, like
Yeah.
20 years or more than that?
Like that, if we count, we have at least minimum 10 to 15 people.
Wow.
In fact, I have colleagues here whose service in the institution has been, more number of years than I have been here as an employee.
My goodness, sir. And how many years have you been, sir, as
I have joined this organization on the 1st of January 1992.
And people who are working more than 92. My goodness, that shows the loyalty they have to the institution, no? It's amazing. How is your day routine, sir? ఏం చేస్తారు పొద్దున్న నుంచి? How is your routine?
Like she said, meditation for some time in the morning, then the walk, puja, breakfast, and to the office. And since she acts as a cushion, getting in touch with these heads of institutions every morning, so I come into picture only if required.
What do you handle so majorly in this institution? What is like the major day-to-day task or major 4 hours, 5 hours you spend it?
See, the time that I spend in the office, one is I have to get myself updated on what is happening around, especially in the arena of education. And with an institution so large, there is always shortage of infrastructure. So that is where we need to see what adjustments can be made. And then generally, people feel schools and educational institutions, summer is a time which is very relaxed because it's not working. But it's the other way around. We are much more busy during the vacation time than the Indian normal time, especially in the summer vacation, where any pending infrastructure works like additions, repairs, all this has to be taken care of in those 45 to 60 days of vacation. So that makes us, and that is also a time, when we have the admissions of all the institutions for. So that also, and institutions this old, admission season actually brings a lot of pressure on us. Teaching from various quarters coming in, calling up, somebody needs an admission, somebody needs a concession, somebody needs something. So that auto takes away a lot of our time during summer. And every other organization, one of the major aspects is the finance. As far as finance is concerned, it is one thing that we still follow, and we followed it also during COVID. The salaries of the employees have to be transferred into their accounts on the last working day of the, where the last working day is 25th, 28th, or 30th, 31st, whatever it is, but the last working day. And that we have ensured even during COVID that we are able to transfer. So that arrangements, actually, financial arrangements that actually take up, I think, quite a block of my time.
During
It's very well.
COVID, we three used to sit in the accounts.
Uh-huh.
Nobody there to help. We used to transfer the salaries
My goodness.
with mask on, and we used to come, open our accounts department, put the registers, and we used to transfer the salaries.
Auntie, you guys have spent so much time together. What leadership quality you see in Uncle? And Uncle, what do you see the kind of leadership quality Auntie has?
For me, is one of the best leaders I have seen in my life. But one thing, what I expected, he will never say no to anybody.
Okay.
And he's got a very good vision, fast sight.
Uh-huh.
And whatever decision he takes, first I feel, and why is it taking that? Finally, his decision will always be proved right.
And what do you think, Uncle?
By not saying no to anyone is actually, I'd say, a misunderstood fact, a misnomer, which probably works in my favor. It's not that I don't say no.
Uh-huh.
When I say no, also it sounds like a yes. If I have to say no, I'm not person who would be blunt.
Mm-hmm.
You make the other person see the reason why I'm trying to say no. And most of the times, the person who comes to me himself says what I want to and leaves. But that has got I think a misunderstanding that I'm a person who doesn't say no to anybody and anyone can get anything they want from me. But the only thing that I'm capable of, when either I say yes or no, I don't just think with my mind, but I also use my heart there.
Very important.
I try to weigh the pros and cons of saying yes or no. But I do it very quickly. So at times I have been proven wrong. But whatever I do it quickly. I don't like to have a person sitting before me for too much of a time, expecting for an answer from me. And once I say yes, it is yes. If I say no, it is no. I think probably a handful of times that I could probably count on the fingers of my hands where I would have changed my decision from a yes to a no or a no to a yes. And as far as Deepika is concerned, I would say that yes, at times she is blunt. I would say a no-nonsense person. She takes a person only to a certain extent.
Good.
And after that, whereas I try to see that the person who's sitting with me loses his patience. I don't lose patience.
Uncle, like when you, it's so beautiful you guys are with each other. Uncle, I want to understand what actually coming to my mind, listening to the way you are as a person and all. After those 9 days, when you came back, what different did you find, or how did you again took over those reins back again? Because 9 days you were seriously ill. Coming back when you're physically ill does affect a few things. So how did you took back again? How did you come and see how this institution was being handled?
As an advantage, one thing as an advantage is we do not remember anything about the day that I've fallen ill, except that I got a delegation from the US. Normally, I'm a person who remembers things in detail. Also able to, talk about it in detail, even years and years later. Even now, I can, recollect what I did at school on a particular occasion, or my interactions with people years ago. I remember, but the day that I had met the delegation, and till the day that I came back home from the hospital, I do not remember literally anything except that I had a haircut and a shave in the hospital before coming home, and then the moment I stepped down from the car just before entering the campus, I found my daughter crying there.
No, ma. How was it, sir, seeing back her again?
Like I said again, an advantage was my home and my office being in the same place. So once in fact, the day that I came back from the hospital, right from the main gate to my residence, the school children were lined up.
Even the faculty.
Faculty, I had in fact, all my colleagues and some students, each of these institutions, and I actually did not at least at that point in time think that I was coming back from a hospital. So much of concern on their faces, so much of love there that I was totally lost.
Auntie.
On the second day, we started attending the office.
Oh, that's pretty tough. Uncle, Auntie has been, your mother has been a very, very strong system, is what we have observed. And Auntie has been a part of institution for a very long time and still is. Still is, still is. And how is Auntie's role, Uncle? How is she as a person? We would like to know. There's so much we heard about Sampathy, sir, but Auntie has been the backbone, is what I feel. Please, please.
My mother-in-law was a dynamic person and never saw her breaking down even in the toughest of times.
Lovely, lovely.
So she's a very good financial administrator, I should say. Very good. To this thing, I'm really proud to take advices from her.
Hmm.
In some cases, I see a man in her after Kogan. She's that great.
How's your bonding been with your mother-in-law, Auntie, over a period of years when you were introduced to the family? How was that journey like? Until now, you are literally like taking care of her. It's like, from a daughter-in-law to becoming a daughter and taking care of her like a mother. So how has that journey been?
Point to give her the best of the food,
Okay.
and we enjoy shopping. We enjoy.
Oh, still
Yeah.
lovely, lovely. Good. That's really good. How's your bond with your mother, sir? There's such a beautiful bond with the father, but mother has been the apple of the eye.
After the father's demise, they're besties.
Oh,
More than mother and son, I see both friends.
lovely, lovely. That's a very healthy space.
In fact, so right from the inception of the institution,
Uh-huh.
3 years, my mother was the person who looked after the finances,
Uh-huh.
managed the finances. My father was interested only in the administration and the academics of the institution. I would say the academic administration. The finance part of it, he had left it entirely to my mother. She was the one who planned out the finances, would ensure that whatever is required is available at the right time. And as far as my bonding with her is concerned, 2 years prior to my father's passing away, I like 2002, late 2002, when he was diagnosed with his
It's okay.
Parkinson's.
Mhm.
He had was diagnosed 2 years, 4 months. My bonding was more with my father than my, and probably at an age earlier when I was in school, even when I was doing my UG and PG, my bonding with my father was at a very different level
Mm.
than my mother. But then once I started working for these institutions, and so my qualification is MBA Finance.
Mm-hmm.
So our interaction started growing and becoming more and more uh, on professional matters. So, but then those 2 years when my father was ill and he not able to uh, in fact, move about. My mother was at home taking care of. Talking to her about the finances, talking to her about how the institution was running, and I think the bonding actually grew stronger. And after my father's demise, like that bonding has gone to a different level. Would say definitely more than a mother and son, and I would also say definitely more than a friend,
Hmm.
because I was able to probably gain her confidence that be able to take this forward only about 2 years, 3 years ago. That's post COVID. Doctors advise that she should not be exposed too much at that age. But then I slowly started talking to her and ensuring that you stay indoors most of the time. But, even now, she is still the chief of this organization. Even now, she still has the entire information that is needed. So, physically, going out of the house is come down, but then she is present whenever there's an important meeting. She is present whenever there is a function in any of the institutions. Uh, we have these farewells and freshers functions and these cultural functions for
Hmm.
us too. All those she's here, and then till about I would say 6 months ago, she was in touch with each head of the institution individually on phone, almost on a daily basis. But now I think that is come down a bit. Now the heads go see her whenever they feel a need for it.
That's very beautiful to know, Uncle. How was the? I see a lot of relations you have with, you maintain the whole institution employees as family. I want to know about your friendships, sir. Any friends of you and auntie, or aunties, any friend, like if you're any friend, like you're like your 2 a.m. friend. Even if it's night 2 o'clock, you can call and speak to them. Or if any friend who has been a pillar of support to you.
Some are very choosy about making friends.
Hmm.
I have a very specific set of friends from my postgraduate with whom I'm in touch even now. There's only one friend from my undergraduation with whom I'm in touch with,
Lovely.
and about 6 friends from school whom I'm in touch with on and off now. But there's one friend from school, who's 1 year, junior to
Mm-hmm.
our practices at Telangana High Court.
Hmm.
He's somebody whom I can go to a call up at 2 a.m. And
Amazing.
he's the only person, his name is Prakash. He is the only person I call up once in 2 or 3 days. And fortunately, Deepika also has a very good bonding with him.
Lovely. What about you, Deepika auntie?
I hardly have any friends, and because I was married very young, So I was not.
Only Sailesh uncle is your best friend. I still remember Deepika auntie calling, daddy. भैया मेरे को ये होना भैया मेरे को होना and daddy having such huge respect for her like मेरी बहन फोन करी मेरे को I think it was Diwali or some puja it was
Yeah. The day when we came back from the hospital,
okay
next day was Diwali.
okay
Once I came back home, my anklet broke in the house.
uh-huh.
So I called the bhaiya and they told, this my anklet. So I'm sending the driver. You can give it in 2 days. He said, no. कल दिवाली है मैं कुछ ना कुछ अरेंज करके भी जा रहा हूँ and he immediately sent.
Yeah, you guys have a very heartful relationship, man. It's like he's always like talking about मेरी बहन आई मेरी I think we did one puja also in our office. He's like पहले दीपिका आंटी को बुला.
January 1st.
Yes, the start of a new year.
Because I would like to thank him on this platform for coming when sir was in hospital.
No, that's
Was
it's
with
kind
me.
of it's okay, auntie.
Yeah.
It's always a family.
Family, yeah.
Yes. And I think that shows a lot of strength you have, auntie. As as women these days are wanting to work and wanting to have their own individual lives, but uh, you are here balancing. No disrespect to anyone, but you are here balancing family, kids, school responsibility, and I think it's very beautiful and very kind of you to share a few words about that. Um, Uncle, what do you think? All this thing is, if you have to believe like it's hard work, is it luck, or it's like something bigger than us that's a blessing from God? If you have to give a percentage at least to any of it.
Percentage to any of this, probably I won't attempt to.
Okay.
But I definitely say that all this is destiny.
Mm-hmm.
How much person has to work, how
Mhm.
much luck a person should or will have, and how much is the help that a person would get from certain things which probably cannot explain. But I think all that put together is destiny.
Sure.
Whatever we are due to get at whichever point in time, I think it's already been decided. Once we say, I firmly believe that no, whatever we do, whatever we say, it's all the will of the Almighty. So when it's the will of the Almighty, then whatever we do is all destiny.
Uncle, what do you feel, auntie? But sorry, what do you feel? Luck or hard work? What do you think?
My all-time one mantra is God is great.
God is great. Of course, because without him, nothing can happen. Uncle. One thing your father built, you'll never change, sir. Anything like one thing your father built, like you'll never change, like from this institution or that value or that one word comes to your mind that will never change. Again, that is like fixed.
Employees to be paid on time.
And here's one more report. Treat even the last class 4 also
Mm-hmm.
equal to you.
Of course.
They should not get up when they're eating food.
Of course.
If he would come also, if somebody gets up, he would never like that. Such principles, such values, we don't want to change.
No, that's a very respectful thing. Yep. I think, sir, any student from this whole school or institution you think about the most, you don't have to name them, but any incident of a student that makes your heart happy, or something that makes your heart happy from this institution, of any student who has achieved or who has done.
If probably we were dealing with very few people, and we said that this particular person comes to our mind the moment we think of something positive or the moment we think of an achievement. But then so many years and so many thousands of students have passed out of Poverty of years. It is almost once a week at least, we either meet or hear of an achievement by a student of ours.
Lovely.
That I think there's no language,
Mhm.
say, we should be able to describe that feeling.
I think parents and the teachers are the ones who want to see their, sons and children and students to beat them out, go well.
In our society and say, burn probably only two people, I'd say two sets of people who won't expect anything and yet feel happy at your
Yes.
achievement is the parent and the teacher.
Teacher, of course, of course. All right, so one thing you want Pratna to remember you by. If any, one sentence you want Pratna to remember you by, sir.
That probably would be not being unfair to anybody.
What about you, Deepika Andy? What message you would give Pratna?
To run these organization in much better way than me.
That's well said. That's well said. All right, uncle. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for the journey you guys have shared. It's been real pleasure. And I swear that no matter how much we speak about Sampathy Garu is very less. I think when you said the way he's built up, I genuinely felt, every inch in this brick belongs to him. And I'm sure he's come back in form of Pratna and lead very well. Thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you so much.